How would you like 3 tips to help improve your photography? Here we go. Hey everyone, Mike Regala from Regala Photography. Hope you're doing well. Today I got 3 tips to help you improve your photography and help you take better photos. Tip number 1, know your camera. Okay, sounds simple. You may have had your camera for many years already and you can't figure out why you're taking good or not taking good photos. It's probably because you don't know your camera very well. Know the different settings, know what it can do and know what it can't do. For instance, I'm shooting with an EOS R right now. I know with the EOS R, it takes awesome landscape photos, portraits, all that stuff. And for video, it takes very, very good video. However, action shots, my EOS R is not very good at that. The autofocus is not very good at tracking fast moving objects. If I want to do that, I'm going to move up to like an R5 or an R6 so I can take those types of photos or video, okay? So, know your camera. Okay, knowing your camera, make sure you know what all the buttons do. Look back here, a lot of buttons back here. I know on Canon, and I'm sure Sony and Nikon and all the other cameras, you can program those so you don't have to have them the way the factory set them. And I know, like for me, I have something called back button focus. And what I did was, instead of using the shutter button right here to focus, I used this button back there and I programmed that to do that. And the reason I did that is, for me, it's much easier to focus using the button on the back. With the shutter button, it was always a pain. I was always snapping shots accidentally and whatever. So, you know, again, knowing your camera and knowing what it can do and what it can't do is definitely a big thing, because if you can take advantage of some of the features on your camera that you may never even have touched, and if you can take advantage of them, you can take quicker photos, you can take more photos. It won't take you as long to set up and recompose for a photo. So knowing your camera, knowing what it can do, is definitely something that you should definitely research. Either read the manual, go to YouTube and search your camera, and there's a ton of tutorials for different cameras. I actually, before I bought the EOS R, I went and watched maybe like about 15 videos about the EOS R. Number 1, to make sure I wanted to buy it and it had everything I needed, but also number 2, just so I know what I was getting into. So when the camera came in, when it got shipped, I knew exactly how the camera would work. Tip number 2, know your location. Do your research. Know what landmarks they have if you want to take photos. Know the area where you're going. Have a map. So if you're going to a park that you've never been to before, maybe have a map of that park to help you get around. Know the trails. So maybe some trails they might be paved. Other instances, they may not be paved, so you need to know what type of clothing to wear, you know, shoes, boots, hiking boots. Know what you need for the location you're going to. If you know you're going to be doing a lot of strenuous hiking, bring a lot of water. Okay, have extra water in your vehicle, have extra water carried with you, have the proper shoes. You don't want to be wearing flip-flops if you're going to be hiking on rough trails. Okay, so make sure you know your location. Also make sure you take a look at the weather report for where you are going, for your location. The weather where you're going, if you're going 2 hours from your home, it might be nice and sunny and warm where you are, but then you get to your location and it's downpour, it might be a couple degrees colder, whatever, okay? Know the weather for your location. Another thing about researching your location that you're going to, do some scouting. If you can, maybe go there a couple days in advance to kind of take a look around, see what landmarks or what you could take photos of, maybe take some test photos. Going to an area in advance will help you at least to know a little bit about the location where you want to take photos. You may get a few ideas for photo opportunities. So scout out the area if you can. At the very least, get a map, go on Google, go to Google Maps or whatever, check out the area that way. Also maybe check other YouTube videos or other online chat groups or Facebook groups. Other people have probably already been there, have probably taken photos. You can ask questions that way too. So, what are some good things to take photos of over there? Or where are some good photo opportunities at this park or at that lake or wherever, okay? So yes, definitely you want to get your own photos and you want to create your own photos, but you at least get some ideas of what each location has for you to take. If you like the video so far, please hit the little like button over here and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be putting a lot more videos up, and please support me. Tip number 3. When you're at your location, you know the weather's going to be good. This one is probably the most important tip out of the 3 I'm giving you today. Try different compositions. Don't just take the obvious photograph and leave it at that. Try different ways of taking a photo. Move closer to the subject. Move farther away. Move to the right. Move to the left. Maybe bring your camera up. Bring your camera down. Lower angle shots are definitely a big thing right now. So bringing your camera low to the ground definitely helps out. Also, I mentioned earlier, taking test photos with your phone, okay? Walk around with your phone before you unpack all your gear and take some photos of the location where you're at, okay? You could test to see what the photos are gonna look like, and then you can go get your gear, set everything up, and it's much easier to manipulate your phone going high and low than it is to have to set up your camera, your tripod, and etc., and then try to take your photo. So use your phone, get your photos set up ahead of time, okay? Then unpack your gear. After using your phone, get your gear, get your camera. Maybe before you even put your camera on the tripod, kind of take a look through the viewfinder and see what it looks like, okay? Again, your phone is a good way to judge stuff, to get a test shot, but then you're going to fine tune it with your camera, because obviously your camera is more powerful than your phone, even though phones nowadays are really good. But work with your camera and see what your camera is going to make it look like. So if you go too close to your subject, you may not be able to get it in focus, okay? So while with your phone, might have a better, sorry for all the noise, but your phone might be able to get a better shot close up than your camera will, or vice versa, okay? So again, make sure you check with your camera, look through the viewfinder. Another thing about knowing your composition is leave a little room to crop. And I know that's very controversial, cropping, and I don't mean taking a picture of a tree 100 yards away and then cropping all the way into that tree, okay? I don't mean that. Leave a little room to crop, okay? Just so you can kind of maybe fix a little things, or maybe you might realize that your composition might be a little bit better if you kind of crop in a tiny bit. Now again, I'm not talking about zooming right in to your subject. I'm just talking about a little room around the edges, just in case, okay? Especially if you're using a crop sensor camera. Obviously, crop sensors, you're zoomed in. I think it's a 1.6 crop on most crop sensor. Okay. They are zoomed in a little bit. So again, you want to make sure you leave a little room. If you got a full frame, like what I'm using right now with the EOS R, you kind of have a little bit of room. So this way you can crop in a little bit. The same is true for video too. Leave a little room and you can kind of crop in and out just in case. Maybe you're videotaping and there's somebody in the background that you didn't realize, and you didn't see it till you got home, okay? Again, you can kind of crop it out a little bit, okay? So leave a little room to crop. Well, I hope you found these 3 tips helpful and you're going to use them in your next photo session. The key is to make sure you have confidence when you're out taking pictures and knowing how to use your camera, knowing your location, and knowing how to figure out your composition. Those are your keys. So please subscribe if you like this video and hit that like button, and also you can click the bell to be notified of my next video. Thanks for watching.